If it works, you're live.
We're live. Love to hear it. Good to be back after a while. Welcome back to the Final Play. I'm your host, Harrison, with my co-host,
Michael.
We got our guy G behind the camera today. So we're just going to go ahead and jump into it. This is the pre-draft show for, obviously, today being the first day of the NFL season, I believe. Is what I call it. First day of the draft. We're going to go ahead and start off with some of the crazy news as of lately, within the last 30 minutes. News has come out that Tennessee would like to move up into Arizona's 3 spot. Now, D-Hop was rumored a part of the deal, but Ian Rappaport has come out and he said that D-Hop was, if the trade were to be made, that his name has not been brought up in any of the talks that Tennessee and Arizona have had pertaining to swapping first rounders and more. But other than that, Dallas, right now, sitting at the 26th spot. We are roughly an hour and a half out from start time. What do you think?
Well, I think Dallas has a way of getting in their own way. I think they jump and leap and talk themselves into players that they shouldn't be drafting. A lot of times, the needs outweigh who's available sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
So, lately it's been draft a running back, draft a tight end. But I really think they need to stick to their guns and grab, unless they think they can get that same guy or very close same guy in later rounds. I think they need to address the offensive line first, or if there is a stud defensive player, go that route. But getting a tight end when you already have your starter, and if you draft a tight end in round 1, they automatically make more money than Ferguson's going to get. So you would be drafting a backup almost, at least for year 1. Running back wise, I don't know. I think they can get a comparable running back in the later rounds. They don't need to grab who's there in round 1.
I have to agree with that statement because I'm a TCU fan, so I'm not sold on Bijan. Don't get me wrong, talented player. But when it comes to something that Dallas, when it comes to the running back position, we saw the differences in Zeke and we saw the differences between him and Pollard. If we found a guy that is the best of both worlds, I don't think it's in Bijan Robinson.
Who'll be gone anyway.
Who I think will be gone within the top 15 picks. But also, I got to steer away from Jahmyr Gibbs because Jahmyr Gibbs is just, I think he's Tony Pollard 2.0.
He's not a different enough to make. He's not going to make a round 1 difference. I mean, so he's not going to start. You have to draft a starter in round 1 in most cases.
So the names so far that have been mentioned a lot surrounding Dallas when it comes to O-line, Darnell Wright, tackle from Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
He may be on the board, but the issue is he plays right tackle.
Mm-hmm.
We have Terrence Steele.
Mm-hmm.
I trust Terrence Steele a lot.
You certainly don't need to. You're not replacing Terrence Steele, so you may as well. You want another. You need another guard, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, I have a feeling they're going to reach for either some name
well, the Cowboy Insider, Jane Slater, roughly 20 minutes ago, she had posted that there are some names, and I guess Dallas is heavily considering the tight end position, and those names being the likings of Dalton Kincaid.
He'll be gone. I think he'll be gone.
He should be gone. Michael Mayer from Notre Dame.
Mm-hmm. Washington. What's his name?
Darnell Washington was not mentioned.
Yeah.
But Dallas said that they could potentially go after Sam Laporta from Iowa, who's a guy that you can get in, I believe, in rounds 3 and 4.
Yeah, they don't need to go reaching.
I think right now this at least first round needs to be either O-line,
right,
or a stud, and I mean a stud wide receiver falls. I'm talking Zay Flowers or Jordan Addison. If they manage to fall to you, they're must grabs. I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. Jackson Smith-Njigba, he's gonna be gone. He's gonna go to the Jets. I'm convinced he ends up in the Jets because it'll be him and Garrett Wilson together.
Well,
and I think Quentin Johnston's also gonna be gone.
Yeah, he'll be gone. And now that Rodgers is a Jet, they're going to load him up. They're not going to do what Green Bay did and quit
and avoid.
Well, they only would draft defensive players, or the last straw was drafting his backup, Jordan Love.
Yeah, out of everything that you end up doing, you do that. I'm just
idiots.
Oh yeah, that's really dumb. But I'm trying to get more updates here because not only do we have the draft today, but we also have a whole lot of NBA playoff stuff going on. So it's trying to work through and find all these things. My first, if I had to base it off of the top 10, right? Let's go ahead. We all know who has the number 1 pick. Carolina has the number 1 pick.
More than likely taking Young. That's the word on the street.
Yes, it is that Carolina could be taking Young. At number 2, you have Houston. Houston, I think, could use the likings of Anthony Richardson or C.J. Stroud.
Mm-hmm.
But I see them going in an opposite direction and taking Will Anderson Jr. and getting D-line help. Arizona, lovely Arizona. Who knows?
Well, if they stay in that pick.
If they stay,
yeah, they may not stay in that pick.
There's no telling what could happen. But if anything, if I had to guess, I think Arizona is going to fall back. I think somebody like Vegas, Atlanta, maybe even Seattle, just swapping first rounders right there.
Now Seattle picks 5th.
Seattle does pick 5th, but
have to necessarily.
They don't have to, but if it does go Young, Will Anderson, and they feel as if the Colts or whoever moves up,
on the board,
whoever jumps them is either going to take Stroud, Anthony Richardson, or Will Levis.
Which the Cardinals don't need a quarterback, so they would move out to let them take that.
Or they can stay right there and just go ahead and draft the likings of Jalen Carter, Tyree Wilson. There's a lot of people that they can draft out of that 3 spot. But I just think it's going to be – I think if it is Arizona at the 3 spot, I'll just go ahead, play it safe. Safety route here, Arizona will take Jalen Carter from Georgia. Now we go to Indianapolis. They have a history of how they like their quarterbacks. Will Levis. At 5, I know there's talks that Seattle could go quarterback. I just think that Geno Smith has shown enough to remain that guy.
Well, I think he well. The word with that is that Geno's still going to be the starter this year. They're just talking about long term. We might, you know, or hey, you're the starter until we see unless you prove us otherwise that we need to go in a different direction. But they've been open with Geno about, hey, we might draft a quarterback. Not to say you're not gonna start, but we may grab one of these guys to be an understudy.
Yeah, but I just don't think. I personally, I'm not wasting a first rounder on it, considering you have the likings of. I don't think Hendon Hooker's a first rounder, but he's a guy that you can definitely get potentially day 2. Yeah. I believe he should be a day 3 pick, but I just think that they need to address their defense heavily, so they could take one of the next top tier edge rushers or.
Right. They got other problems besides.
Good old Detroit. God.
Always picking high.
Yep. They know how to do it. Let's see. I think with the list that I'm able to pull up, I think they'll take, gotta be honest, I think they'll either go Paris Johnson Jr., shore up that O-line.
Good.
Because that'll help out Swift and David Montgomery. Gives the chance, giving Goff more time.
Right. They already got, was it Penei?
Yeah.
Last year?
A few years ago.
Yeah, so
Penei Sewell,
that'll help.
That'll help sure
that. Yeah.
So they could go Paris Johnson, Broderick Jones, Darnell Wright, shoring up their offensive line. Now they could surprise all of us and go with the first wide receiver off the board, whether that be JSN, Quentin, Jordan Addison, Zay Flowers. It doesn't matter.
To pair with St. Brown.
Or they could be the first team to take a tight end off the board.
Take Kincaid.
Because
Hawkinson's gone.
Right there. That's where it is. That's what makes me nervous.
Yeah.
Vegas. I get Jimmy G is your quarterback.
They don't have Waller anymore, though.
They don't have Waller. I believe Hunter Renfro's gone, too.
I don't know. I didn't see anything about him.
But they could be in the market for a quarterback. But I think they're going to go ahead and bolster the defense up.
They're going to ride this year out with Jimmy G as long as they can.
So they could go Nolan Smith. They could go Christian Gonzalez. That's just what I see. Atlanta.
They have a lot of problems.
They're not taking quarterback. They have Desmond Ridder. They're not taking running back. They have Tyler Algier.
Right.
Wide receiver room?
And they have a tight end.
They do.
Kind of.
They have a wide receiver that plays tight end.
Oh.
Who, mind you, is also another name that I have heard getting potentially traded away today or within the.
I don't know about that. Maybe not this year.
But
good, but.
So we have Carolina taking Bryce Young. Houston, I'll go ahead and say, takes Will Anderson Jr. I think if Arizona stays there, they'll take Jalen Carter. Indianapolis, Will Levis. Seattle, I'll say they take Tyree Wilson. That's who I'll say they take. Detroit, Paris, offensive line. So I'll just go ahead and shore up the first guy off the board, Paris Johnson. Vegas, Christian Gonzalez to shore up defense. And we're at Atlanta. Atlanta has bolstered up their defense a lot.
I think they're going to grab a receiver.
They could go receiver.
I could see him grabbing a top-end receiver just to give Ridder more help.
And it helps out Drake London, too. So
London, and it helps out Kyle Pitts, too. Yeah.
They have a lot to make up for, especially after getting rid of Ridley. They have a lot to make up for.
They've been having bad. Yeah, they've been. But a lot.
So I'll say they take JSN. Chicago. A lot of people suggest O-line. Even maybe they take a tight end, which would be, I would laugh, only because they have Cole Kmet.
They're not yet. They won't take a tight end.
Running back is my guess. I say they take Bijan Robinson because Montgomery's gone, and the only running back you have is Khalil Herbert.
Yeah. And need someone else to run besides Jalen, besides the Fields.
Yeah. So I say Chicago taking Bijan Robinson.
Yeah.
Philly at 10. Ladies and gentlemen.
They need a running back too.
Do they?
Well, I saw a mock where they took Bijan.
But I just don't think that Bijan falls to them right there.
Probably not.
So they could go.
I think the Bears take Bijan if he's Bijan on the board. They should.
But Philly at 10. There is also rumors that Philly could move up from the 10 spot. They want to move up.
If they do, they'd probably think they're not going to get Bijan at 10. So it's
either that or they really think that Paris Johnson Jr. won't make it. I don't think he will.
He shouldn't make it past the Lions.
He shouldn't. But there's possibility he does. But I feel like if they get this hunch and this feeling that it's not going to happen, the Eagles, they do want to move up. But we're keeping them at 10 right now.
Mm-hmm.
Just due to the age on the defense, they need a young guy. And I think that Nolan Smith from Georgia is could be.
Yeah, because Fletcher Cox is at the finish line of his career, and they barely brought him back last year.
Yeah, so, and Brandon Graham's up there in age. It's just it's not looking good. So I see them taking Nolan Smith. Number 11, Tennessee. Again, they could potentially have the 3 pick within a matter of seconds.
Yeah.
But we're going to go ahead and keep Tennessee at 11. Anthony Richardson. Now we have Houston back on the board. They took Will Anderson. We had them taking Will Anderson. But could they be in the market for maybe CJ Stroud at 12? Because he's still on the board with what we've said.
That's true, but I would be surprised if Stroud is still there. That would mean they took him at 2, is all I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
But there'd be no Will Anderson at 12.
No.
If they, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's why the word on the rumor now is they want the 3rd pick also, because they know they want the 2 and give the 12 to somebody else. Mm-hmm. Just to go boom, boom, and be done.
So I'll say at 12, Houston, like you just stated, Will Anderson doesn't fall past.
Oh, he's a stud. He's a Pro Bowler.
Yes.
Year 1.
So I think Houston at this point does take CJ Stroud. Green Bay.
Right.
They could shore up the O-line. Anybody can really shore up their O-line. Realistically,
but I don't think they do that.
I don't think they do it either. I think they go tight end.
They could go stud tight end
because Tunyon's gone.
Tunyon's gone, and they're a franchise that generally uses the tight end more. So
and I don't think they re-signed Mercedes Lewis either. So they need a tight.
Even if they did, he's ancient.
Oh, yeah, he's old. The only reason he got minutes was because of Rodgers.
Yeah.
So, at 13, go ahead, give me Green Bay taking
stud tight end.
Any one of the tight ends.
And then I've seen mocks where it was Kincaid going to
Could be. Kincaid.
Whoever's one of them guys. And by the way, that does help out Jordan Love, because Jordan Love's probably going to need a safety net.
He does. He's going to need one
since he's the one right now. So,
and it will help free up the run game for Aaron Jones and AJ Dillon.
Mm-hmm.
So I definitely see that.
Mhm.
Now,
However, having said that, they might go with a bigger. Now, Dalton Kincaid, I don't know if he's as big as the other tight ends to where he could actually, run block too. But yeah, I can see him going Kincaid though.
okay, 14 New England Patriots. New England's interesting. They're really interesting because they got a lot of holes and a lot of places.
Yeah, and they don't have Brady to bail them out.
Nope, they're stuck with Mac Jones. Good luck. So you got their wide receiver room's depleted, so they could go wide receiver.
I can see that.
They could go corner because that room is very much depleted as well. And it would actually shore them up better because they have Mac Jones. That Mac Jones plays quarterback. I don't remember, but his last name's also Jones, and he plays corner. And he was a rookie last year, and he played tremendously.
I think they're going to they're going to draft someone to help Jones.
You think they're going to draft somebody to help out Mac Jones?
The offense.
So
to basically say, hey, we drafted this stud. Now you go, now we want to see you do something with it. That's what I think they're going to do.
Okay, so
I don't think they're in love with Mac Jones as much as they thought.
Let on. I don't think they are either.
So,
but
again,
something does tell me though that they go defense because of how defensively minded Belichick is.
Yeah.
So I'll go ahead and I'll give them Devin Witherspoon.
Okay.
New York Jets. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. The team that traded for Aaron Rodgers, Breece Hall, Michael Carter. You got you got Garrett Wilson. They added Alan Lazard.
Right.
There's a lot of things, but just to give him safety net, I think safety net's going to be O-line.
Yeah.
So
gotta keep him upright.
So
for sure.
Peter Skoronski could be a guy. Darnell Wright.
Who's the Jets tight end though?
They won't go tight end. They have
somebody.
They have
I forgot who it was.
They have Uzama, but they also have Tyler Conklin.
Okay.
So they have two tight ends that fare either way. Yeah. So I think they go O-line. I'll go ahead and give them Peter Skoronski.
But I could see them also going receiver just to, say thank you, Aaron, for showing up. We're now giving you help. They don't want to start rubbing him the wrong way in the draft like the Packers did. They might go offensively, a weapon, for him to throw it. I don't know. It could all depend who's on the board too.
That's true. And I don't know if we've given up a receiver yet, but if we haven't and he's on the board at 15, JSN will go to the Jets. I'm willing to guarantee that only because it hooks him back up with Garrett Wilson. The poverty franchise known as the Washington Commanders. Okay, here we go. I know my buddy Jamari, he's laughing because I know he's watching right now, and I know he's laughing because me and him always talk about the poverty franchise of the NFL and of MLB and NBA. Your poverty franchise is on the board at 16, ladies and gentlemen. And all I gotta say is who knows and who cares, because they're gonna screw it up anyway.
Yeah, I don't even know if it's the Rivera show still. I mean, calling these types of shots, but I think they're gonna mess it up.
They will mess it up, and I'll go ahead and give them Brian Branch, safety from Alabama. I'll go ahead and just give them that because they got their main issues are that defense.
Or if they're shopping Chase Young, they might go D end.
They could go D end. That's true. Lucas Van Ness is a guy that they could go after. Mm-hmm. So now we get to the nitsy gritty. Pittsburgh Steelers. I think they go corner. So Joey Porter Jr. is on the board. Deontay Banks is also on the
And
board.
Joey Porter Jr. obviously would be a homegrown pick.
Yes,
homer
he would.
pick. So they might do that.
So I think Joey Porter Jr. might be the pick at 17.
Mhm.
At 18, Detroit's back on the board.
Mhm.
So we had them take O-line.
Yeah.
So maybe they didn't re-sign DJ Chark. So maybe they go ahead and address that receiver issue. I think they could take.
If Flowers is there, Quentin Johnson would be there.
I think that if JSN's the first receiver off the board, I think Jordan Addison's next at 18. Give me Jordan Addison at 18 to help out that offense.
Yeah.
Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Baker Mayfield's your quarterback. Rashad White is your running back. Your receivers are Mike Evans, Chris Godwin,
which is good. They're not going to drive no receiver.
No. I think they go O-line, and I think they take Anton Harrison from OU. Offensive tackle. Sure up, I believe. Yeah, that would be Mayfield's blind side, the left tackle, because you have Tristan Wirfs at right.
Yeah.
So Seattle on the board at 20. You have Metcalf. You have Lockett.
Decent. Now Lockett's getting.
Noah Fant is your tight end. That's a good tight end.
And they have Wesley. I forgot his name, but Disley.
Oh, Will Dissly.
He's okay.
He's okay, but I'd rather run out Fant.
Yeah.
I don't see Seattle taking a wide receiver.
Probably not. Who's their running back? Is it still
Kenneth Walker?
That's right.
Kenneth
So
Walker.
they're not going to address that. Oh.
Let's see. It'd be crazy, but if Tyree Wilson fell to Seattle, I think we had them take Tyree Wilson up at the 5 spot.
Mm-hmm.
They could go Joe Tippmann, center.
Mm-hmm.
Because of the fact they have such a young offensive line, they'd be able to bring them all up together.
Yeah.
So I think Tippmann could be the pick there. Obviously, at the 21 spot, Tank for Tua got exposed, so they lose their first rounder. At 22, Los Angeles Chargers are on the board.
Mm-hmm.
Could go many ways. They could go running back due to the Austin Eckler talk.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they do that. I think they go wide receiver. And I think that's when Quentin Johnston falls off the board.
Right.
Ravens they picked up Odell. As of today, 5 years, $225 million, $185 guaranteed to the new highest paid quarterback, Lamar Jackson. I don't think they go wide receiver. I think they could go Osiris Torrance, Lucas Van Ness. I think Van Ness might be the pick there.
Could be.
I think it's going to be Van Ness because Calais Campbell is gone.
Assuming the Commanders don't take him.
True.
No.
No, because I had them taking Brian Branch safety.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
I know, we talked about it.
I think at 23, Ravens will take Van Ness to shore up the D line. I don't know how my boy Jamari is going to feel about it. I know he's going to text me soon. Next on to Minnesota. You got rid of a key piece of your offense in Adam Thielen.
Yeah.
They could go wide receiver. They don't need a tight end.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little iffy.
True.
I think Minnesota goes corner. I think they take Deontay Banks. I think they'll take Deontay Banks.
Yeah, I can see that.
Or they do go wide receiver and they take Zay Flowers. I think Jacksonville at 25 now. Jacksonville's at 25. I think they take Miles Murphy from Clemson. The D end, I think they take him. 26, New York Giants. Just to spite Dallas, because that's the thing with the NFC East is if they have a pick right before Dallas, they will do something to spite them. It's been a running theme for years. So just because for the shits and gigs, I think they could take Jahmyr Gibbs. Just to spite Dallas, they could take Jahmyr Gibbs. Or since there's all this tight end talk, they could take Michael Mayer. But I think that the Giants' first round pick is going to be a spite to Dallas.
Which they love to do.
27, we're up. I want it so bad to be top tier wide receiver. The ones that we've listed are gone. Now you need to look to O-line. O-line's the thing that you need to shore up. Tyron Smith is up there in age, guys. Thank you for your service, but I think it's been long enough. Dallas has needed to move on. Tyler Smith can play left tackle and left guard. So get somebody that can be flexible with him. Steve Avila. TCU. That man can play all 5 positions on the offensive line. Perfect. But he fills what I believe is probably our biggest need right now at that spot.
Yeah.
I don't want a tight end.
Well,
I don't.
And we have a tight end.
We have 2.
Yeah.
If we want to be real honest, we technically have 3 because Sean McEwen comes out of nowhere sometimes and makes plays.
Yeah,
so
there's no need.
So this needs to be Steve Avila or somebody we haven't named yet that's on the board that shores up a defensive line spot.
Because we haven't mentioned Maxie Smith. We haven't mentioned.
Well, Mozzie Smith will be there. Kalea Cansey.
Right, we haven't
I think
Cansey.
if Cansey's on the board, I think there's.
Yeah, you have
he just spews out everything Dan Quinn would want in a defensive tackle.
You have him. You add him. I mean, I don't know how these offenses are going to be able to handle the Dallas team if Cansey's on there too.
Not to mention our Dallas.
Ridiculous.
The defense showed in the second half of that game we could stop what the Niners were bringing, but now what can our offense do? We added Brandon Cooks. We added Gilmore. Okay, those are veteran ads. They're both going to be here for 2 years, and then I got to fill in there out the door.
There is something else too to be said too if they grab a defensive end, and that is, Lawrence is.
He's up there. He's
not a kid anymore.
No, he's not, and he's also had his own health injuries. But I believe in Tank.
Oh yeah,
we need to go back.
He's still going to play fine for a year or 2 more.
We need to go back to Micah being hybrid. I don't want them knowing if he's coming or not.
That's the problem. Is they lined him up way too much as an edge rusher, and that's really not what you want him to do. He's not LT just yet, but if you replace, you put Cansey there, and now Parsons can roam around, coming from who knows where, right? It's a totally different deal for these offenses, and I think it just got too predictable. That there's Parsons lined up where he normally lines up. So,
I think Dallas needs to go O-line here.
More than likely,
that's what they need to do.
Long term, it'll be the right pick. Yeah,
Steve Avila, I think, is the pick. Buffalo right after. Man, oh man,
they have a lot of issues too. So
they could be in the wide receiver market, but I'm pretty sure we named the top guys.
I think
already.
They're good unless something changed. Obviously Diggs is still there.
Do we think they could be in the tight end market just due to Dawson Knox's inconsistency?
They could. What about what do they do for running back? Who they pick up?
They could go running back, but now you're looking at because Bijan and Jahmyr
bottom of the barrel.
So now you've gone to the second tier of running backs.
Yeah. which they're not going to grab in round 1. I doubt it.
No, so
But they just don't seem to have. They never have. I mean,
you want to know
it's
what?
still Josh Allen.
You want to know what? I think Buffalo. If Kancey's there for Dallas, I would lose my mind if we didn't take him, just because of
we picked up we passed up a pretty big name last year to take Tyler Smith, even though Tyler Smith worked out.
He panned out beautifully.
Right, but we passed up a stud. I think it was that went to the Eagles eventually.
No, he ended up going to. No, I know the guy you're talking about. He went to the Jets.
Yeah,
he went to the Jets. Came back into the first round to get him. I think Jermaine Johnson.
Yes, it was.
Yeah,
after we took Smith.
So again, at 27, I'm keeping Dallas with Steve Avila. Buffalo will jump on Calais Kancey
if he's there
so quick.
And just so you know, I'm available to be picked as well. I threw my hat in the ring.
Undrafted free agent.
Again.
Straight up.
I'm technically that now.
Cincinnati Bengals. Anything. Take anything.
They'll probably pick the best player available.
I think that's what I think they're going to go BPA. That's the only thing they can do. Mm-hmm. New Orleans Saints. Wow. Could they be in there?
No. They just picked up.
They got Jamal Williams.
Well, and the quarterback went down there.
Derek Carr.
So Carr's with them, so they might, looking for help for him.
So now, if they go help, would they go wide receiver? And look in there?
Right.
Potentially.
Thomas ain't good.
Marvin Mims.
Michael Thomas
from OU.
Is done.
No, he's done. He's really done.
Yeah. Could be Mims.
Marvin Mims coming up into round 1. Bold prediction for today. You know what? I will run with it.
Yeah, because they're going to want to get him some help since he showed up.
Philly back on the board at 31. In round 1, I believe we had them take. Yeah, we had them take Nolan Smith.
Assuming Bijan was gone. Yeah. Which
they might take Broderick Jones at that point, offensive line. They'll take Broderick Jones. Mm-hmm. Kansas City Chief. I think Kansas City could move up. Kansas City could move up now only because of the fact that they need receiver help.
Yeah.
So I think they could jump up. I know I'm saying this, but they can jump up from that 31 spot up to somewhere within the 18 to 23 range if one of the top tier receivers is there, which I believe they should be. Mm-hmm. So
yeah, they lost Hardman. Who I think went to the Jets too.
Yes, he did. McCole Hardman went to the Jets.
So, yeah.
Juju Smith-Schuster went to New England.
Yeah. So yeah,
who's your receiver 1? so
Kelsey, but technically, but that can't be everything, right?
No, it can't. So I think Kansas City will go ahead and
move up.
I think they'll move up, but we didn't have them moving up because I got all the way down here and forgot about them.
Yeah.
Same old, Yeah. Everybody forgetting
about. But you can just flip flop because if they, well.
Yeah, I'll keep Kansas City there, but I think
we will compare our predictions to the actual draft, which starts in about an hour.
Yeah. It's always good being here in front of the camera talking to you guys because it's been a really long time. But before we do go, our co-host Garrison, I know he's behind the camera right now, but he wanted to give you guys a heads up on Prize Picks. It's a betting app that you guys can. I got to be honest, you can make a lot of money on Prize Picks. Mm-hmm. They always have a deal every Friday. They have a deal. They have their own thing called they do their own Taco Tuesday thing. So you get discounts on certain players and certain categories. Like today, I know one of the major Taco Tuesday ones was Garrett Cole down from 7.5 strikeouts against the
6.5.
Rangers to 6.5. I took that practically on every slip I've made. But, G, if you want to go ahead and give us some of your for sure locks, and then we'll close this bad boy out. What you got for us today? I actually want to know.
I mean,
Give me your lock skis.
none of it's a guarantee.
That is true. None of this is ever a guarantee.
Now, before you make that, I gotta just have this chime.
Ladies and gentlemen, your Carolina Panthers are on the board, and they will waste 6 of the 10 minutes they are given.
Trey Young over 40.5 PRA.
Trey Young over 40.5 PRA.
Yeah.
Nice.
And then Derek White over 15.5 points.
Derek White over 15.5 points for the entire game, or is that first half?
Nah, that's entire game.
Okay, 15.5 Derek White, entire game. Well, it was a good show to get you guys, some pre-draft conversation started. Give you guys some potential prize picks. I tell you what, tonight's going to be interesting, and I can't wait for it.
It's coming up, and then we're gonna go get our food here in a minute.
Yep. We will talk to you guys next
Peace out.
time. Ladies and gentlemen, we are out. Man, oh man.
That's gonna be a